Hey, it's Hunt. You found Hunt on Saints. We're talking black and gold football. Do us a favor. Hit the like button, share your comments below, and hit that subscription button so you can get all of our content. Enjoy. Biggest news probably, I think, name-wise, the Saints signed Kenny Nwangwu, who was an all-pro returner with the Vikings back in 2022. He's got 3 kick return touchdowns in his career in the NFL in 3 seasons. He's a running back by trade. Didn't get a chance to do a lot of that with Minnesota, but he's an explosive playmaker and a guy that the Saints are going to bring in. Is just a 26-year-old to add some depth to that running back room. So I think that's a good add for the Saints, trying to get some more playmakers in at the running back spot because it's been kind of so disheveled and disorganized and injured throughout all of training camp. So Kenny Nwangwu is a good add there for the Saints. The rest of the practice squad, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm a couple names short here on the practice squad, trying to take notes as I can while we're on the air and these are happening. But some of the bigger names the Saints have signed back to this practice squad. Jonathan Abram, the safety, who was a starter last year for the New Orleans Saints, has been brought back on the practice squad. It's pretty likely he's going to be elevated pretty quickly. That's a guy they're gonna get to the field at some point, whether it's injury related or just because he's good enough to be on the active roster. Ugo Amadi has been brought back. I thought the best story probably was Jacob Kibodi being brought back on the practice squad. We know he had a monster game on Sunday. He's a Baton Rouge guy from right here, Christian Life, played at Louisiana Lafayette, had a great preseason finale. That's another guy at running back that they're going to get into the mix and could be available for them in a pinch if they need him. Draft pick Josiah Aziram at offensive tackle has been brought back on the practice squad. Shane Lemieux also on the offensive line. One of the guys that we thought might make the 53 that didn't, was a little bit of a surprise yesterday, was Kyle Hergel. He's an offensive guard. He's going to be brought back on the practice squad as well. Shamar Jean-Charles at cornerback. Equanimeous St. Brown at wide receiver. The Saints did not lose anyone to waivers. Now, you can take that any way that you'd like. You can suggest that the Saints didn't have anybody good enough for anybody to claim them off waivers, or that the Saints were fortunate to get guys through waivers. But any way, this is starting to take shape as the practice squad. Charlie Smyth's the name I did not mention. Charlie Smyth did make the practice squad for the New Orleans Saints. They want to kind of keep him around. It's just a very intriguing prospect. Charlie Smyth is like the 19-year-old 6'6" right-hander that throws 100 miles an hour. Like, he can't throw it over the plate at times, and he doesn't really throw a slider at this point, but he just throws really hard, and you feel like there's something you can develop within him. It's the same thing with Charlie Smyth kicking. You know, back in the open practice at Yulman Stadium, he kicked a 65-yard field goal. There's certainly a lot of guys that can kick 65-yard field goals, and Charlie Smyth is one of them. Now, you look at the kicking situation, and you feel like Blake Grupe's got that under control, but you never know. One, you can lose it at any point, and 2, you can get hurt. So having Charlie Smyth around is a good deal, and it's a good story. He comes from that overseas program that the NFL is trying to implement. Saints gave him a shot, and he's earned an opportunity to come in and continue with the team, continue to work, continue to develop, and potentially to help the Saints at some point moving forward in the future. So of the guys that I think that could make an impact on this team, probably would take an injury or potentially a move here or there, but Jonathan Abram for sure. I think Kyle Hergel for sure, Equanimeous St. Brown for sure, and Ugo Amadi for sure at this point. I can't promise you I've got a comprehensive list of the Saints practice squad. Again, this is fluid and it's happening throughout the day while we're on the air. I'm trying to make notes as we go through segments and do things. But the good news for the Saints is they did not lose anyone to waivers that they were hoping to kind of use the term sneak through waivers. They didn't have to do that with anyone. The one guy that you thought potentially could be a casualty there they ended up keeping on the roster was Mason Tipton. That's a guy who was fantastic early in camp, got hurt, but the Saints paid him a good bit. There was some real competition in the market for Tipton to get him into camp, and the Saints won that competition, got him in. He showed what he could do. He's got some similar traits to Shaheed and Olave, and he's a little bit undersized. He runs really well and is shifty, and that's kind of what they do. But the Saints didn't have to go that route of putting him through waivers in the practice squad to get him back. They just have him on that roster. So this is a fluid situation. As we know, that cut down day does not indicate that that's exactly the unit that you're going to take onto the field against Carolina. Any of the guys that I mentioned, should there be an injury over the next 10 days, would be in line to go out there and play. Some of this is developmental, some of this is depth. Like, I think Josiah Zeram's just a guy they liked in the draft process. They liked his size, they liked his traits, but he's kind of a project. He comes from a smaller school. You come into camp, you have your good days, have your not so good days, and he's probably not ready to help the big roster. But they like some of the things that he can do. So you keep him on the practice squad, you continue to develop him, and you hope that eventually he molds into a really quality player. I think probably the same goes for he and Charlie Smyth in that way. So if you're looking for the Saints that are going to be on the practice squad, you're looking for all your Saints coverage, you can find it at louisianasports.net. Ross is doing a fantastic job over there at keeping things updated. There's a lot of interesting stuff on louisianasports.net as of this morning. I've got a couple of pieces up. One is on Will Campbell. He had some fantastic quotes yesterday that we're going to get to on the air in the second hour, about 20 minutes from right now. He's talking about not going to Caesar's Palace and going for a fight. I've got a story up on that. Chris Marlar's got a piece up. That's the top 5 SEC impact transfers on offense. LSU has one of those. You can read the piece and find out who it is. Some Dennis Allis down. And then Matt had Phillip Wright, LSU commitment from Destrehan, on his show on Friday. That's transcribed and put up on the site as well. So a lot of interesting stuff up at louisianasports.net. Highly recommend that y'all go check that out. It is free to take your LSU, Saints, and SEC football content whenever it is that you want it, and you can certainly find it on your mobile devices as well. Hey, it's on. Thanks for watching Hunt on Saints. Before you leave, help us out a little bit. Hit that like button. Leave your comments in the section below, and hit that subscribe button so you get all our content right here from Hunt on Saints. We'll see you next time.